What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Kevo back at it again with another video. I appreciate you for clicking on my video, man. And yeah, we finna get into it. Let's go.
I don't understand why people keep talking about that. It was forever ago. They were both very young, and he had just had his first herpes outbreak from her giving him the herpes.
Ooh, my.
For real?
Like, how the you know what I mean? Like people don't understand what happened that night, and that's because Jay-Z worked so hard to change the narrative of that night.
Chili, not Jaguar Wright, and Chris Brown teaming up to expose Jay-Z's affair with Rihanna. Y'all remember how Chris Brown has been dragged for 15 years for putting pause on Rihanna? Well, he and Jaguar are now coming out to reveal that there is so much about the story that we don't know because, allegedly, Jay-Z set Chris up to be the villain. According to Jaguar, Jay-Z was allegedly having an affair with Rihanna and Chris was threatening to expose them, which would have been bad for them, and they couldn't let that happen. And as always, Jaguar is not just spilling the tea, but she is also coming with hard evidence, threatening to leak freak-off videos between Riri and Jay-Z. Girl, this is some crazy tea, but did Jaguar just accuse Rihanna of giving Chris herpes? Let's break it down.
What?
Jay-Z gave her the herpes that she gave to Chris Brown.
What?
And that first night, when he had that outbreak and he busted into Clive Davis's house and said, "Where the is this dirty?" I can't fault him for that.
Mm.
He had this is beautiful. Oh, wonderful. Chris Brown, she didn't ruin him. She ruined him at 19 years old. He's got the Jay-Z herpes.
One thing about Jaguar Wright, she is always going to speak on Diddy and Jay-Z, and it doesn't look like she is about to stop anytime soon. Plus, she just might have outdone herself this time around because she is claiming to have some damaging information on Jay-Z and Beyonce, including allegedly freak-off footage of them together, and she is threatening to release. Chili, Jaguar is never going to let go of Jay-Z's neck, but this just might be the wildest, craziest story that we have heard from her in a long time, maybe even forever. But to be fair to her, it's not like Jaguar is coming out to spill this tea out of the blue, because the reason she came out to expose this story is that Chris Brown spoke about it first, and he hinted that he had been set up by Jay-Z and Rihanna in order to protect Rihanna. Of course, people didn't believe him because they assumed that he was just lying and trying to do damage control because people were always coming for him. Well, Jaguar was not about to let Chris get dragged for this, not when she had tea on Jay-Z, so she finally spoke up and brought some pretty strong evidence against him. And girl, let's just say that things are about to get messy. I mean, Jaguar has been spilling tea like this for a very long time, and she has been proven right every single time. Plus, nobody has come out to sue her for slander or anything like that, so y'all know that she has been telling the truth. Okay, let's start with Chris and what he had to say. Chris Brown is finally breaking his silence after 15 years of enduring, swirling narratives about his life. He's stepping up to set the record straight about the tumultuous events of 2009 involving Rihanna and the alleged role Jay-Z played in his career setbacks. Back in 2009, the world was rocked by the disturbing incident between Chris and Rihanna just before the Grammy Awards. Their heated argument in a car escalated into a physical altercation, leaving Rihanna with visible bruises and Chris facing serious legal repercussions. He was arrested and later received probation and counseling as part of his sentence. In the aftermath, Chris initially seemed to accept the blame, echoing the narrative put forth by Rihanna and her team. According to that version of events, the altercation erupted when Rihanna discovered Chris's infidelity, leading to a violent exchange where she purportedly initiated physical violence, and Chris responded in kind. But now, Chris is ready to share his side of the story. He's tired of being painted as the villain and wants to shed light on what he believes really happened that night and the subsequent fallout. With accusations swirling about Jay-Z's involvement in undermining his career, Chris is ready to confront the rumors head-on. It's a pivotal moment for Chris, who has spent years struggling with the repercussions of that fateful night. By speaking out now, he's hoping to reclaim his narrative and set the record straight about the events that continue to haunt him after all these years. But now, Chris is ready to flip the script. He's stepping up and claiming there's a whole lot more to the story than what we've been told. According to him, Jay-Z wasn't just a bystander in the drama. He played a shady role, orchestrating Chris's downfall and then cashing in on the chaos. It's a gutsy accusation that's bound to stir the pot in the ongoing saga of Chris Brown's career. With this new angle, the old narrative gets a serious makeover. It's not just a tale of a troubled relationship boiling over into violence anymore. It's a story of power struggles, betrayal, and the cutthroat world of entertainment. Chris is finally taking the reins of his own story, dead set on setting the record straight once and for all. In an interview, Rihanna said, "I caught him in a lie and he wouldn't tell the truth, and I wouldn't drop it. I couldn't take that he kept lying to me, and he couldn't take that I wouldn't drop it. It escalated into him being violent towards me, and it was ugly. I was battered, I was bleeding, I was swollen in my face." Wow. She also admitted that the relationship was super toxic, saying, "The more in love we became, the more dangerous we became for each other. Equally dangerous, because it was a bit of an obsession." For the longest time, Chris also went along with this version of events, claiming that he had lost his mind when Rihanna caught him cheating. But as time went on, Chris began pushing back, trying to reshape the narrative surrounding him, dropping hints that there was more to his story than the public knew. Take, for instance, his collaboration with Chloe Bailey on the track How Does It Feel? When news broke of their collaboration, Chloe faced a lot of criticism and hate from fans who called her out for working with Chris, given his past. This made Chris so upset that he went on a rant, saying, "If y'all still hate me for a mistake I made as a 17-year-old old, please kiss my whole entire ass. I'm effing 33. I'm so tired of y'all running with this narrative. You weird people are the same ones that tune in every week to see Blueface and Chrissy beat the F out of each other in front of the world. But that's okay. It's entertainment. All y'all can suck my D disrespectfully." He continued, "Where are the cancel culture with these white artists that dates young women, beat the F out their wives, giving women AIDS? Oh, that's right. They are your buddies. No more fake love from me. Stay out my way or get ran over. Simple as that. None of you, and I mean none of you guys, can F with me." All right, hold on to your hats because this part of the story is about to get seriously spicy. Turns out Chris wasn't holding back when it came to throwing some major shade at a certain someone in the industry who's been whispered about for his history with younger women. And yep, you guessed it. He was taking aim at none other than Jay-Z. This was interesting because Jay-Z is a good 12 years older than Beyonce. Now, he's claimed they started dating when she was 18 or 19, but if we do some math, things start to look a little fishy. In a chat with Charlie Rose back in 2007, Jay-Z mentioned meeting Beyonce 10 years ago, which would put their first meeting in 1997. Crunch those numbers, and Beyonce would have been a mere 16 at the time. Girl, depending on the specific date, she might have even been 15, while Jay-Z was pushing 30. But wait, there's more. Rumors have been swirling for ages about Jay-Z's alleged involvement with Foxy Brown when she was just 15, again with him being in his 20s at the time. So when Chris decided to shine a light on men who have a thing for younger women, all fingers pointed squarely at Jay-Z. Hold on to your hats, because we're diving deeper into the scandal pool now. Chris didn't hold back, hinting that these guys were tossing around STDs like they were party favors or something like that. According to Chris's version of events, Jay-Z allegedly had a fling with Rihanna while she was still with Chris. And buckle up, because it's claimed that he passed herpes to Rihanna, who then passed it along to Chris. Yep, you read that right. Allegedly, Chris got wind of this whole messy situation on the night of their infamous fight. The cheating, the herpes, the whole 9 yards. And let's just say it might have been the final straw that sent him over the edge. This revelation adds a whole new layer to the saga, especially considering the long-standing rumors swirling around Jay-Z and Rihanna's relationship. Back in the late 2000s and early 2010s, rumors were everywhere about something brewing between Rihanna and Jay-Z. But Rihanna consistently shot them down, insisting their connection was purely musical, nothing more. Her publicist at the time even took responsibility for spreading the fake news, claiming that he did it as a way to push Rina's career. He said, "The PR stunt that I did was out of desperation to help break Pon de Replay," he wrote. "It was reckless and I didn't think it was going to work. I was just throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what would stick. I didn't think it would be this big story. But now, knowing that people are profiting from speculations and opinions about her really turns my stomach. I'm ashamed that I'm even talking about this. I just want to put this rumor to rest once and for all." Well, Chris isn't pulling any punches now. He's dropping some major truth bombs. According to him, the whole Just Music story between Jay-Z and Rihanna is nothing but a cover-up. He's alleging that both of them went to great lengths to squash any whispers of a fling because, let's be real, it would have been a PR nightmare. And it gets even messier. Chris claims that Jay-Z actually pressured him into going along with the narrative they cooked up, the one where Chris was painted as the bad guy, even though, according to him, it was Rihanna who was in the wrong. Supposedly, Jay-Z was desperate to keep his own involvement hush-hush. I mean, if word got out that Rihanna was straying from Chris, you can bet people would start asking questions, and those questions would lead straight back to Jay-Z's doorstep. And that's a Pandora's box he definitely didn't want to open. I know it sounds like something out of a soap opera, and you might be tempted to write it off as Chris trying to save face. But here's the kicker. Jaguar Wright, who's not one to mince words, is backing him up on this. And let's face it, she hasn't been sued or caught lying yet, so her word carries some serious weight.
I don't understand understand why people keep talking about that. It was forever ago. They were both very young, and he had just had his first herpes outbreak from her giving him the herpes.
Ooh,
Wow.
my.
Like, how the did you know what I mean? Like people don't understand what happened that night, and that's because Jay-Z worked so hard to change the narrative of that night.
Jaguar really poured gasoline on the flames by confirming the rumors that Jay-Z had supposedly been romantically involved with Rihanna when she was younger. But Jaguar wasn't done yet. She went on to accuse Jay-Z and his crew of setting Chris up as the fall guy, spreading fabricated stories in the media to deflect attention from their own involvement.
And then they sat there, and Jay-Z and them get on the radio and they talk shit about that little fucking boy. And then they put together that whole fucking sham and then have him arrested on the red fucking carpet just to make sure America fucking hated him for fucking defending himself against that crazy fucking, I mean, she's sexy as shit and she's pure whore and pure pussy and she has all of my respect.
Yeah, she fun.
When it comes to the whore game.
Ooh.
But you ruined fucking Chris Brown's life, and you knew you ruined his life, and the only reason you did it was because your pimp Jay-Z told you to.
Dang.
So that he could cover up the fact that he started fucking you at 14 when he was damn near 30 years old.
The idea of Jay-Z allegedly being romantically involved with Rihanna might sound like something out of left field, but when you start connecting the dots and realize Rihanna isn't the only woman rumored to have been in his circle at a young age, the pieces of the puzzle begin to make sense. And here's the kicker. Some of these women are pretty recognizable names, like Foxy Brown. What's more, there are whispers about how Jay-Z allegedly pulled some strings to hinder Foxy's career once he was done with her. This is just another chapter in the saga of allegations against Jay-Z, isn't it? But what sets Foxy's story apart is that she's not just making baseless claims, she's got some evidence to back up her side of the story, which adds a whole new layer of credibility to her revelations. And word on the street is that plenty of folks in the industry are well aware of what Foxy's bringing to light, so she's not exactly shouting into the void here. Now let's shift gears and talk about Foxy's career trajectory. For years, the prevailing narrative was that her feud with Lil' Kim was the primary reason her career hit a rough patch, and let me tell you, that feud was messy. There were shots fired, both literally and figuratively. Foxy even tried to extend an olive branch to Kim, but it seemed like Kim wasn't interested in burying the hatchet.
Actually, it's Russell and I, the president of my record company. We got together and I said, Russell, I want to call a truce. I said, I want to have a sit down with Kim and I want to actually, I don't care what it is. I don't care what just end it. Let's end it.
Well, it turns out we might have had the wrong end of the stick when it comes to the beef between Foxy and Lil' Kim. Instead of Kim throwing shade, it seems like it was Jay-Z pulling some shady moves behind the curtains. And let me tell you, it's a real eye-opener, especially considering how far back Foxy and Jay-Z's history goes. Back in the day, Foxy and Jay-Z crossed paths when she was just stepping onto the scene in Hollywood. They even collaborated on a few tracks that made some serious waves, and to everyone on the outside, they seemed like tight pals, or so we all thought. But looking back, there were definitely some red flags in their friendship, even back in the 90s. Now let's remember that conversations about grooming and inappropriate behavior weren't as widespread back then as they are now. Jay-Z was in his mid-20s when they first linked up, while Foxy was barely 14 or 15. And here's where things start to feel uneasy. The lyrics in the songs they worked on, let's just say they were way too mature for Foxy's age. Jay-Z was writing verses for her that were just not suitable for a teenager, and in hindsight, it's crystal clear that something wasn't quite right. For example, in the song Ain't No Man, he gave her the lines, "Ain't no man like the one I got, no one can F you better. Sleeps around, but he gives me a lot. Keeps you in diamonds and leathers. Friends tell me I should leave you alone. Tell the freaks to find a man of their own." Now, Jay-Z was wrong to have a 15-year-old singing those lines. Like, what on earth was he thinking? But if you think that's bad, well, it gets even worse. Jay-Z and Foxy continued their professional relationship, and he co-wrote her song, Il Na Na, and the lyrics are much more vulgar. In the song, Foxy rapped, "Yo na na so ill, first week out, shipped a $500,000, men freaked out. She's all about S, pardon, check your facts and the track record. I'm all about plaques, shaking my butt half naked, loving this life. Who got the illest pee on the planet? Sugar walls coming down, men can't stand it, the Il Na Na." And if you're wondering what on earth she meant by na na, she's talking about her lady parts. A grown man writing a song for a 15-year-old where she's talking about her lady parts has got to be one of the wildest things we've heard come out of Hollywood. And trust me, we've heard some pretty outlandish stuff from Tinseltown. He kept on writing some pretty explicit and inappropriate songs for her, and a lot of the super explicit Foxy Brown tracks from the 90s had Jay-Z's fingerprints all over them. Back then, she was known for her raw lyrics, and while I'm not saying that Jay-Z was solely responsible for writing all her songs, he definitely had a hand in quite a few of them, and his influence was undeniable. So how did they go from being tight in the studio to Jay-Z supposedly sabotaging her career in the industry? Well, it turns out things between Foxy and Jay had gone beyond the music studio. They took their collaboration from the recording booth to the bedroom, and word on the street at the time was that they were romantically involved, although I wouldn't exactly call it romantic because, let's face it, there wasn't much romance involved. Just a good old roll in the hay, if you know what I mean. Girl, there were even rumors that Jay-Z was the first man that Foxy had been with, and she was a minor at the time. It was something of an open secret in the industry. He was something of a sugar daddy for her, which was weird because, again, she was 15 and he was in his mid to late 20s. Rumor has it that he funded some pretty lavish shopping sprees for her, and he paid for her nails, hair, and that sort of thing. But y'all want to know something interesting? Sources in the industry revealed that Jay-Z allegedly gave Foxy an STD while they were messing around together. Whew, one thing about Hollywood, these celebs are gonna pass around STD like party favors.
Y'all should go back and talk to all of the niggas that she slept with in Philly when she was in Philly. She burned every last one of them. She sent more to the clinic than COVID.
Well, it's pretty evident that Foxy wasn't the only woman in Jay-Z's life, but she was definitely kept under wraps. Jay-Z wasn't exactly broadcasting their affair from the rooftops, and for good reason. If news of their relationship got out, he could have found himself in serious legal trouble due to her age. Talk about a legal nightmare. But here's where things take a turn for the even more scandalous. Word on the street is that Foxy spilled all the juicy details about her fling with Jay-Z at a party, letting the cat out of the bag. And if that wasn't enough, there were whispers floating around that they even made an adult tape together, and Foxy supposedly had it stashed away safely somewhere. Now that's the kind of scandal that could send shockwaves rippling through Hollywood. Not long after she made these alleged revelations, her home got robbed and the tape got stolen, which is just sus. But Foxy later spoke to TMZ to deny ever making the allegations, and she said, "The atrociousness of this story sickened me to my stomach. In all my years in the music industry, these are the most disgusting and disrespectful allegations I've ever experienced. This fictitious story, with no audio, visual, or written interview, clearly was concocted with malicious intent. Jay has only been wonderful to me and my family, a great friend throughout all the years I've known him, and we had nothing but great success as a team." Yeah, talk about a mess. Like I said, people in the industry knew what was going on, but they kept their mouths shut. When Nick Cannon tried to ask Jay-Z's former friend about it, Damon evaded the question.
It seems like you got a question for Jay. Ask him. Don't ask me his questions, bro. I'm not taking it.
I'm not just, okay.
Y'all can keep asking me questions.
We're moving on.
Y'all keep asking me questions y'all want to ask him, because he ain't here. Ask him. I ain't to do with that, and I don't even know nothing about that.
Nas even alluded to the affair in his song Ether, where he said, "Foxy got you hot cause you kept your face in her pee. What you think you getting girls now cause of your looks." So again, it was an open secret in the industry and everyone knew. But as long as she was with Jay-Z, there was nothing anyone could do or say to her because she was under his protection. But according to Jaguar, it wasn't all sunshine and roses because Foxy was allegedly mistreated by Jay-Z as well, and he allegedly exposed her to STIs, just like he did with Rihanna. But in Foxy's case, she didn't have a boyfriend to pass it on to. These new revelations have people on Chris Brown's side, and they left comments like, "Remember, as part of Chris Brown's sentencing, he was forbidden to talk about what happened, and the only reason for that was to protect Rihanna. If he's the only one guilty, why couldn't he talk about it? It was a dead giveaway she wasn't innocent. Remember how Wendy said, if you sleep with Rihanna, you gotta take penicillin after that? Y'all were mad. And poor Chris Brown, I knew there was more to the story. Chris is talented, and I hope he stays away from these evil people. Anywho, y'all drop your thoughts.
Dang, that junk crazy, man. Sheesh. Oh my God, it be so much, y'all. It's just so crazy. You know what I'm saying? This is allegedly, but still, it just seemed like it makes sense though. You feel me? It's your boy Kevo. Comment down below how you feel about it. If you new, like the video and make sure you subscribe. Show me some love, and I'll see y'all in a few.